Astros opening day roster is shaping up as spring training is winding down. Still plenty of questions remain, though. Who will step up this week and make the final cut? From Osceola County Stadium in Kissimmee, Comcast Sportsnet presents Houston Astros spring training baseball. And today, the Houston Astros winding down the spring when they take on the Miami Marlins. Only 4 games left down here in Florida and 1 week away from the 2013 season getting underway. Alongside Adam Everett, I'm Kevin Eschenfelder. It is good to welcome you. Astros making some roster moves earlier today. I thought, since they added a shortstop, we'd add a shortstop to the broadcast team with Adam. But, hey, Ronnie Cedeno is here. Doesn't look like Tyler Green. He will not make this club. Ronnie Cedeno comes in. What does he bring to this team?
Well, I tell you, he's that veteran guy that they need in the middle of the infield to solidify everything. He's going to catch the ball, and that's exactly what we need. You don't know what kind of offensive numbers you're going to get from him this late in his career, but he's a young guy. He can go out there and do it.
Hey, he'll be in the lineup today. We'll set that lineup a little bit later on, but you look at camp and you look at guys that come in here and they know they're going, so to speak, north with the big club. There's also situations, too, where guys have to come in and earn their spot. Who are some of the guys who have come in here and really earned their spot with this team?
Well, I believe right from the beginning, you've got Brandon Laird, you got Rick Anfield. Both are having outstanding springs, but don't forget about Brandon Barnes being that guy as well. And then, you got Brad Peacock on the pitching end and Philip Humber, who we know is going north, but these guys have done a sensational job this spring.
Interesting to see how Brad Peacock plays out as well, if he can find a spot in that rotation. Stay with us. Coming up, the Astros and the Miami Marlins. David Martinez gets the start today for Houston. We'll set the lineup and get things started next here on CSN Houston. Back here in Kissimmee, it is a gray, very, very windy day here at Osceola County Stadium as the Astros good to go with the Miami Marlins as they meet here for the second time in less than a week. Those gentlemen are ready to go. They're not going to need the hats today unless you believe in that whole you can get a sunburn on a cloudy day thing. But look at the wind blowing right now, Adam, and this is going to be an interesting day as far as the fielders and anybody with a left-handed bat right now that can go up there and put something up in the air. Here's your Miami Marlins starting lineup brought to you by TXU as Juan Pierre, the veteran, will be leading it off. The shortstop Wilson Valdez follows him. Giancarlo Stanton is in right field. He doesn't need a 30-mile-an-hour wind to get it out of here. Dobbs, Rusciano, and Brantley, the middle third of that order. Matt Downs, the former Astro, is at third base. Casey Kochman, the first baseman, and Nick Green will be at second. And this is the lineup that will face the Astros. David Martinez, minor league pitcher, getting the start here today. And Martinez is a guy that's been in the Astros organization for quite some time. 6'2", 225 pounds. He's 25 years old. You see the numbers he was able to put up at Lancaster a year ago. Signed with the Astros at the age of 17. 9-5 with a .438 last year at Lancaster. As you take a look at the numbers, and the veteran Juan Pierre steps in, and we are just about underway here in Kissimmee. Filling in for Alan Ashby and Bill Brown. I'm Kevin Eschenfelder alongside Adam Everett, and first offering is in there for a strike. Juan Pierre.
Well, it looks like I'd say that Martinez has some experience with the wind as it blows out about 30 miles an hour to right center in Lancaster as well. So we'll see how we can handle this.
You can see the camera shot from center field. It is blowing so hard right now as that one is in for a strike. Blowing so hard right now, it is shaking the camera platform. And it's hard to keep the camera steady right now, and that's the case out there.
Well, it's a typical spring training day.
And you said that it seems like the wind, you hear that the wind blows like that at Class A Lancaster as well. So you got the right man on the bump today.
Absolutely.
Because he's used to pitching in these type of conditions.
To have a 3.6 in Lancaster, from what I understand, is, you know, you could probably drop a whole point off that. He knows what he's doing out there.
And this is away. Juan Pierre. Take a good look at Martinez from Venezuela. That one swung over, rolled over, and that's foul.
You know, it's watching Juan Pierre. He's been doing it for such a long time. And he's just a spoiler, trying to figure Martinez out so we can kind of relay what he's got to the rest of the guys. So he's that veteran presence there at top of this line. It's really going to help this Miami team, I think.
Spent the last few years out and around different teams in the big leagues, but he's got a World Series ring, and it's got a big old fish on it.
Yes, he does.
2003. That one hit, base hit.
And there you have
right
it.
Field.
Gets it going right from the beginning.
All right, we set the defense for you for the Houston Astros as Trevor Crowe gets the start in left field. In center, it'll be Rick Ankiel and Fernando Martinez in right. Cedeno and Altuve, the middle infield. Dominguez and Brett Wallace on the corners. Carlos Corcoran makes up the battery alongside David Martinez, who is on the mound today. Wilson Valdez, the shortstop.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've got Ronnie Cedeno out there now, who's really going to solidify this middle of the infield. I think it's a good pickup for the Astros. I mean, he can play defense.
That's a hard. I thought he had a chance at second base. But Juan Pierre, even at an advanced age, can fly. It'll go as a sacrifice, 1-3. Juan Pierre has 591 career bags. That is the most among active players. No one has more. It's not even close.
Is that good?
That's good.
I think that's pretty good. But he's, you know, the thing about Juan is he is fast, but he knows how to steal bases, right. And that's something that instinct you just can't teach sometimes. So
there's Giancarlo Stanton, who could get it out of here if that wind was blowing in.
Well,
he hit a couple. We saw.
Yeah, he hit a couple over that batter's eye out there. It's 410 to center, so they probably went about 475. He's a big, strong kid.
Giancarlo Stanton with a runner in scoring position. Swing and a miss, is able to fool him on strike one. So Stanton missed 39 games a year ago with that knee injury, and really that was the start, the beginning of the end, if you will, for the Marlins season. They had such high expectations with a new stadium and Jose Reyes signing, and you had a lot of things going on, and next thing you know, there's infighting, and then Giancarlo Stanton is hurt, and things spiraled out of control from there.
Yeah, you know, it's you never know what goes on in the locker room, but whenever one of your big dogs goes down in the middle of your lineup, that's never good. And trying to replace a bat, trying to just replace that presence to where it affects everybody in the lineup is tough to do.
Here's the 1-1. That one single to right. Pierre will be waved. He'll come in to score, and just like that, it is 1-0 Fish. RBI single from Giancarlo Stanton. 6th run batted in of the spring. That is what he does.
Yeah, you know, you're looking at his numbers in spring, and you can always tell by the higher batting average that him staying on the ball like that, he is ready to take off and have that career year to really put him on the map as one of the premier power hitters in the league.
He almost misses, a quarter of the season. He misses 39 games with the knee last year. Still, you look at the numbers. He hits 37 bombs. Drives in 85 runs on a team that really struggled.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, whenever you're going to have Pierre in the top of the lineup, he's going to be on base. He's going to get his opportunities again. And, you know, I think it's just going to really boil down to who's hitting behind him, if they're going to throw to him or if they're going to, you know, just kind of unintentionally, intentionally pitch around him. So we'll see.
He's another guy, and it's going to come up in conversation. You just take a look at Greg Dobbs, DH who steps in. 3 for 14 in the 5 games in which he's played here in the spring. But he's a guy in Giancarlo Stanton, when they start talking about guys that they might move, you know, his name is always going to come up. That ball's hit in the air. Right fielder Martinez fell. It'll fall in. Martinez slipped and couldn't get to it, and that's got to be a tough play right now, because you got to be thinking, if you're right field, you're thinking everything's over your head.
Yeah, first step back, especially. I mean, we showed you the flags earlier. I mean, they're blowing about 20 miles an hour straight out, and whenever something like this, he takes a big swing and he does hit it off the end of the bat. You know, unfortunately slipped, but that's, you know, that's kind of spring training the way it is. The wind blowing out, and the fields are a little wet here and there because we've had some rain the past couple of days. It's really tough to grasp what these guys are really going through out there.
So David Martinez, they'll settle him down as you see Justin Ruggiano, native Texan, stepping in, and former Astro. He was in the organization a year ago after signing a free agent contract in February of 2012. Got traded to the Miami Marlins and just went off after he got traded. What a rookie season he was able to put together. Former Texas A&M Aggie. They're never a former Texas A&M Aggie. You're all once an Aggie, always an Aggie. At least that's what I'm told.
Well, I mean, I learn something new every day.
Being from South Carolina and Atlanta and everything, yeah. I just wanted to be able to bring you. That's a breaking ball in there for a strike. Just make sure you stayed up on that.
Yeah, I'm getting caught up here, so that's really good. I'm being educated.
Two on, a couple of stress pitches here, and that's in for a strike. 0-2.
Make a good pitch here, get us a ground ball, see what we can do in the middle. I know Cedeno and Altuve haven't worked together probably ever, so we'll see what they can do. Maybe we can get us a ground ball to one of those two and we can turn a double play.
Brocale looking on closely, as you see, also Bo Porter. You know, Wednesday he was very good against the New York Mets. Pitched 2 perfect innings in that game and punched out a pair of Mets in that ball game, did David Martinez.
You know, he's just one of these, he's a big, tall, strong kid, good arm, durable, you know, throwing it through 160 innings last year. So, you know, come in here and basically just show him what he's got, and you never know. I mean, he makes a good impression here. Anything can happen throughout the year.
And if nothing else, I mean, you leave that lasting impression for, even if you don't make the club, you're obviously, anytime you've got big league eyes on you,
absolutely,
you want to do your best.
Absolutely. That's you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what he should be thinking coming in here, knowing, hey, I'm not going to make this team, obviously, but I come in here and throw some good innings. You never know what can happen in the future.
Just his second appearance of the spring, and he'll step off. It's 2-2 to Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano, a tough spring so far, hitting just $118.
It is. Spring is so tough sometimes. I mean, some guys are such slow starters. Some guys just do not like spring training at all, and, you know, just really have a tough time getting going. But, you know, the numbers, sometimes you can tell when a guy's going to get out there and just have that career year, and other times a guy will hit 200 in spring, and the next thing you know, he has that career year. So it's really tough to gauge on just spring training numbers.
Ruggiano hit .313 when he came up to the Marlins last year. In 91 games, he also had 13 bombs. There's a swing and a miss, strikeout, and throwing out. So Carlos Corcoran comes up on the double steal, throws to second, and a strike him out, throw him out. But the Marlins get a run on a pair of hits. Off of David Martinez in the top half of the first. Astros coming to bat. Here's Houston Astros starting lineup presented by TXU as Jose Altuve will be leading it off as usual. The second baseman, Brett Wallace, is at first base in the 2-hole. Carlos Pena is the designated hitter today. Rick Ankiel, what a spring he has been able to put together, is in center field. Fernando Martinez is at right. Carlos Corcoran is hitting .357 right now. Matt Dominguez, Trevor Crow getting a start, and Ronnie Cedeno, the newest Astro, he gets the start at shortstop. As you take a look at the man trying to make this club as the number 5 starter, it would be Jacob Turner. In his 3 starts thus far, it has not gone well. An ERA north of 10. And he's 0-2 here in spring training. And you got to feel that a guy like this has to be feeling a little, not a lot, but I mean, not a little, a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at his numbers right there, and he really hasn't dominated either side of the plate with left-handed hitters or right-handed hitters. So, you know, it's just going to be a matter of him. He's got the stuff. He's got the ability. It's just a matter of going out there and proving it now. And, you know, this is what makes spring training tough, but this is where you have to step up to make a team with the wind blowing out. You're on the road. You're facing the Astros A lineup. You're facing the starters, and so we're going to see what they can do.
Take a look at this defense today. Juan Pierre's in the left as Justin Ruggiero gets the start in center. Stanton will be in right. Wilson Valdez and Nick Green, the middle infield. Casey Kochman's at first. Matt Downs is the corner infielder at third. The Rob Brantley behind the plate catching Jacob Turner. And here is Jose Altuve to lead it off for the Astros.
Good player here. Does everything right.
You know, and he's a guy that after hitting .290 a year ago, maybe towards the end of last, I don't know, maybe towards August and September, you got the feeling that now you're seeing what that 162-game schedule is really all about. Started off very well, and, you know, he didn't finish quite as strong, that's for sure. But that said, still, hit .290 in your first year in the big leagues.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. You know, whether he slowed down, it's one of those 162 games, it's a grind. And, you know, with the season that they had, it was tough. And for him to go out there and put up the numbers he did just shows you what type of gritty player he really is.
Well, you saw .345, the average with 3 doubles as Bo Porter looks on, and he takes a leadoff walk.
The struggles continue for Turner, and you know, you lead off, or whenever you walk the leadoff man, that's usually never a good sign, especially if you didn't have throwing. So we'll see if we can make him pay.
I talked to Brett Wallace before the game, and you know, he had, it was Wednesday, dove back into a bag. He said he had a little bit of a stinger at his shoulder, but he said if it had been the regular season, he would have definitely played. Instead, sat out, and he is good to go. So Wallace taking that one in for a strike.
Big tough guy. I mean, he's not gonna, you know, he's one of those guys that's gonna play, and when he gets the opportunity, he's not gonna take himself out of the lineup because he knows how important that is to get out there and play and prove what he can do.
Yesterday, and what the Astros have been so very good offensively, a very rare game yesterday in which they were really shut down. Tehran from Atlanta did not allow a hit. He is nasty. And matter of fact, the Astros didn't have a hit until the 7th inning. Didn't score a run until Rick Ankiel hit a 2-run home run. Oppo in the 9th inning. That was after Chris Carter got hit by a pitch. But yesterday they struggled offensively. Again, that has been the exception. Very much the exception, not the rule.
You know, if that's what it takes once on every 21 games or whatever it might be, then that's okay, because these guys are ready to go. This is a young ball club. They've got a lot of energy, and I think they're going to go out there and really surprise some people.
And you know, Bo Porter was talking about that before today's game. That one swung on and hit into the Marlins dugout. Ugly finder there. All he got was the back wall.
You see it? I mean, that's like kryptonite over there. Nobody wanted to pick it up.
Take a look at the numbers right now. The 40 home runs. 4th in the big leagues. 2nd down here in Florida. Among Grapefruit League teams, only Atlanta has hit more home runs, but the slugging percentage up, 26 stolen bases. So people talk about you want to balance putting pressure on the defense and the opposing pitcher, but you also you can't get too crazy about it because you don't want to run yourself out of scoring opportunities.
Well, you know, the one thing, numbers can be a little skewed. The wind's blowing out. You could hit a pop-up out and hit a home run today. But the one thing that's not skewed is speed. Us having 26 stolen bases, that's showing people right now, hey, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to run the bases, and we're going to steal some bases. We're going to try to manufacture some runs, which is very important. I mean, you can ask anybody. You can ask Carlos Pena there. You can ask Wallace here. Hey, you rather hit with somebody on second base or first base? And I'd say 10 times out of 10, they're going to say, I want to try to drive a guy in from second base.
2-2. Brett Wallace. Altuve leads away. Opened the game with a leadoff walk. That one fouled back 2-2.
You know, the one thing that these guys are doing is they're working the count. These guys are, I mean, Turner's already thrown, you know, at least 10 pitches to the first two guys. So that's a good sign for what is to come. If we can continue, they can continue to do that and make the pitcher work and have good, successful at-bats, then, you know, that the starting pitcher gets out of the ball game a little earlier. We can get into the bullpen. We can get into the bullpen a little earlier. That's just great for the whole series.
It's so hard to compare because there's going to be basically on opening day, there's going to be 3 guys who were on the opening day lineup a year ago. So basically 2/3 of the lineup is going to turn over. That said, Altuve going with the pitch, and that one fouled off. That said, you know, last year it seemed like so often was the case. Every time you looked, there was a starting pitcher towing the rubber in the 6th inning. It just see what that just obviously sets up for the opponent is guys that are going to that sets up, put your setup man where your setup man's supposed to be and your closer where your closer's supposed to be. And that seemed like happened a lot last season.
You know, it did. I'm sure, and it's tough. It's tough whenever you're going in there and you know, your starting pitcher that you're facing that night is throwing 6-7 innings, and then you're going to get your closer. You're going to get the setup man. You're not getting to the long guys in the bullpen that help you, you know, win ball games. I mean, you're not going to beat up on too many closers in the big leagues, and that's tough to do.
But Wallace swings through the breaking ball. There's one away. And Carlos Pena, the batter, hitting .250 in the spring.
You know, having Carlos in this lineup, obviously his presence in the batter's box is huge, and having that threat in the lineup, but also in the clubhouse. This guy is going to be great for this team. He's a veteran. He's been around, and he just knows how to play the game. So it's going to be very good for this young ball club.
And when he's not DHing, like some DHs may be in a situation where they hurt you when you have to play in the field. He's not that guy.
Yeah, he's got that gold on his wrist over there. He's a gold glover, and that is gonna help guys, our infielders, out tremendously. As you can see, Turner's already thrown 13 pitches, 2 guys. I mean, that's working the count.
That one hit the opposite way. One hopper downs for 1. And they turn it with a nice stretch by Casey Kochman. So a 5-4-3 double play erases the walk. And we're through an inning. It is 1-0 Miami. Kevin Eschenfelder alongside Adam Everett, back with you. Good to have you with us here on Comcast Sportsnet. As the Miami Marlins got a run in the first on an RBI single by Giancarlo Stanton. And we go to the second with Rob Brantley, the catcher, leading it off. As David Martinez struggled a bit in that first inning, the minor leaguer getting the start here today with the big league club. That's in there for a strike.
Maybe he can settle down here and get us a quick inning, get him back in the dugout. Get him back in there hitting.
Brantley behind the plate today. Brantley and his mound mate, Jacob Turner, his battery mate, should say, they all came over in the Omar Infante deal along with Anibal Sanchez. Both of those guys did from the Detroit Tigers.
I think that worked out well for both clubs. I think they got what they wanted on both sides of the coin there. I think it was a good trade for both.
That one popped out. Dominguez had it. I can think of a lot of places I would rather be than sitting underneath a Major League pop-up today. The wind is howling.
Those were not my favorite, I can assure you. I was very good at running the infield. The sun would get in my eyes even on a day like today with it being cloudy. I'd point and yell at somebody else to catch it, and I'd run straight to second or third, wherever I needed to go.
Look at the wind at the southwest, out of the southwest at 32 miles per hour right now. Here's Matt Downs. And Downsy, a guy that you didn't even have to look down at the score sheet to see who was coming to the plate. Spent the last 2 seasons with the Astros. Granted free agency and signed on with the Florida Marlins. Has not had a particularly good spring.
No, again, it's this is one of those tough situations where you never really know what is happening out there, and you know, he could be hitting the ball well like that and everybody running him down. So
put a charge into that one, but Rick Ankiel was the man in the right spot. Astros, Dynamos, Rockets, and more. We have all your sports news covered. Check out Sportsnet Central 7 days a week at 6 and 10, as well as midnight on Comcast Sportsnet, your home for your home teams.
I love the spring training atmosphere.
A little loose. It's equivalent of going to a having the access you would to high school players.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to get close.
But they're big leaguers.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. If you've never been, that was really the. It's not probably as good now as it used to be, but whereas it seemed like the people could walk out on the field, is the way it seemed like. Casey Kochman.
Oh, his first action.
Ronnie Cedeno. His first try in an Astros uniform, and that one jumped up and bit him. So an E6 allows Kochman to reach.
Well, that's kind of that wasn't very nice of this field to do that to him right there.
Big hop there, and that's you talk about in between.
Yeah, that's. I mean, for the average folks that are out there watching that is an extremely tough play right there. I mean, at the bounding ball in front of home plate, picking up topspin, and then with the wind carrying it as far as it did, that's an extremely tough play.
And that is not an E6. It's given a base hit.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, it's really, really tough, and you can see it, and it's like, oh, he's going to cut. Oh. It's just really, the ball just kept carrying, and that's the spring training for you right there, especially with the wind and everything that's going on.
Swung on and fouled off. Nick Green, the veteran, spent a lot of years in this game. Veteran minor leaguer, spent a little time in the big leagues. .263 average here in spring training.
Just that solid utility guy that you can count on, that's going to catch the ball and just give you that good, solid, competitive at bat.
Spent time with the Braves, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Boston. Been around. A lot of stickers on that suitcase.
Hey, you know what? That's okay. I mean, you got to have him, and he's one of these guys that you know, he may have to go to AAA until he gets his chance, but whenever he does, he'll come up and he'll fill that void, and he'll do it well.
400 games in the big leagues. .236 hitter in his career. That one fouled back. Marlins got a run in the first, lead it 1-4-0 for the Marlins. Astros have yet to get a hit. Altuve reached in that first inning, but he was erased on a double play ball.
Then you got Mr. Martinez. Looks like he's settling in, throwing strikes, and you know, making them work for it.
Good breaking ball. He strikes out Nick Green. We've played an inning and a half here in Kissimmee. Astros coming to bat in the second with the Marlins leading 1-0. Here in the second inning, Rick Ankiel will lead it off, and what a spring it has been for Rick Ankiel as he's hitting .395, homered yesterday, got 4 home runs, making 3 home runs this spring in his 17 games. And a guy just looking for an opportunity. And when you could do a lot of different things, meaning play center field, play the corner outfield, you can run, you can hit. You're usually, you know what you're called is, you're called employed more times than not.
Yeah, it's going to. I don't see any reason for him not to make this team. He has come out here and done everything and then some to come out here. I mean, the way he swung the bat, he can be a left-handed batter off the bench like he did yesterday against the Braves. He can go out there and play center field. He can play left. He can play right. He can steal your base, as you see. And he has got an absolute shutdown arm in the outfield, which you don't see too often. So he's had a tremendous spring.
He's got a scouting report arm. The guy, whenever they were going through the scouting report,
what is it? The 80? The 80 is the best you could have. He's got a 95.
Well,
so
he's there.
Yeah, even at his age, it's still there.
Came up, of course, as a pitcher. That one's in there for a strike on the outside corner.
You know, talking to him a little bit, he's just got that baseball mind, and he just goes out there and it seems like he's locked in on everything. And you know, he's the type of guy that you want to have to help these young outfielders come along a little bit, because he's been on both sides of the coin as far as pitching and playing defense and hitting. He can help you out in so many ways. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a pitcher came up to him and said, hey, you know, I'm having a tough time with this. What was something that you thought about? Because he did them both, and he did pretty well.
Hey, he was very good his rookie season. We've all known the story about having the control problems, ended up having to go back to the minor leagues and converted to an outfielder. And he's the prototypical kid in high school that if he's not pitching, he's playing shortstop. You just have to have him on the field, and he'll be the best hitter in the lineup. He's that kind of guy. He just happened to be a really good baseball player that pitched when he came to the big league. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. He's an athlete. He's one of the best athletes on the field, and he just happened to be on the mound. That just happened to be his quickest route to the big leagues at the time. And for a guy to come back after what he went through on the mound, and then to come out here and get to not only go back to the minor leagues to be an outfielder, but to make it to the big leagues and be an impact guy.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been that with the Cardinals and the Royals, and moved on to the Washington Nationals a year ago, and he takes the walk here as Fernando Martinez steps in, a .308 hitter in the spring. And a smile from Rick Ankiel.
He's you know, he's got that dry, witty sense of humor, which you can always use on the baseball field.
That one hit, and see if it shoots the gap.
And this is something that you can teach. He runs the bases well.
This will tie it, as Martinez will have a stand-up double, and Ankiel comes in to score. That one got by Ruggiano, went all the way to the wall at the 410 sign. And a stand-up double for Fernando Rodriguez as he gets his 6th run batted in of the spring. Fernando Martinez, I beg your pardon. I said Rodriguez. He was part of the Astros last year.
Yes. A good piece of hitting. Got the ball up, drove it into left center. I mean, he gets that ball up, it might have been a 2-run homer, but I'll tell you what, take that all day long. See and kill running right there. I mean, that's pretty good. Take that.
And now runner in scoring position with nobody out. Carlos Corcoran hitting .357, and he and Jason Castro have just flat gotten it done behind the plate.
I'll tell you what, you have a dynamic duo like that. Well, that's tough to beat right there. These guys are playing outstanding. Just keep that, carry that over into the season.
That one fouled off. We talked about Rick Ankiel being the athlete that can do a lot of things. He can run as well. Watch this.
No hesitation right there. Inside corner with his left foot. Look at that. That's pretty good right there. I mean, it's that's pretty precise. Look at him. He's over there. He's trying to find the oxygen tank right now as we talk about it.
Ties the game at 1. And still nobody out. Corcoran hits that one. No telling where that's going to end up on a windy day like today. Again, wind blowing about 35 miles an hour here in Kissimmee.
Well, I don't see how they didn't call that one fair. I think that one hooked around the foul pole right there.
That was on the softball fields around the corner. Jacob Turner working today for the Miami Marlins. Guy trying to make this team as the #5 starter. It's been a tough go so far. Corcoran spoils that one.
You know, for Jacob Turner, it just looks like he's either nibbling or he's in the middle of the plate, and that's just a tough way to live. And at the major league level, you've got to be able to throw strikes on the corners and stay out of the big part of the plate. And you know, it doesn't seem like he's walked the leadoff man both in the first and second innings. That's tough. That's tough to pitch around that all the time.
That one hit high, and Stanton goes back, and watch what the wind does with this. It'll keep it in the ballpark. Stanton makes the play at the warning track, and Fernando Martinez will advance to third base. And how in the world that ball stayed in, I don't know.
Whenever you pull one off your shoe top, sometimes it looks like he almost hit that a little towards the end of the bat, or it got jammed a little bit, one or the other, but he just didn't get it all, and he hit it to the warning track. They're about 390 feet, so that just shows you that. I tell you what, I'm going to give him the benefit. That shows you how strong.
There you go, or how hard the wind's blowing right now. There you go. Way to play that one. Matt Dominguez hitting .289.
This is going to be a big. This right here is going to be one of the telltale signs for the season for the Astros, and he gets it done. That's beautiful.
Right there to center field. That'll work as a sacrifice fly, and the Astros take a 2-1 lead. How you draw it up?
There. That's beautiful. Move, get him over, get him in. That is that's Houston Astros baseball right there. Looks like Bo's talking to Fernando right there. Wonder what he's telling him right there. He's got a big smile on his face, so that's good.
There's something to the effect that, you know, there's one thing they talk about whenever a guy's staying back and letting the ball travel and able to hit the ball with power the opposite way, and that was obviously what he was able to do, is get that double to left center field.
You can do that. You can play for a long time. That's special.
There's Trevor Crowe.
Here's another guy that's very intriguing for this spring. Another guy that's a non-roster invitee that's had a very, very good spring, that can play, you know, all three outfield positions, switch hitter, can run a little bit, can play the game. I mean, you know, the Astros have a lot of weapons at their disposal right now that aren't on the roster. So they're going to have some decisions to make, which well, I'm glad I'm not having to make those decisions.
Yeah, Trevor came up with the Cleveland organization. Like you said, non-roster invitee, and trying to make himself a spot here, get himself a job. And he's a guy that can help you out. Hasn't played the last couple of games,
but he can help you out. He's one of those guys that can come in, play defense late. If you need him to lay down a bunt, he can come in and lay down a bunt. You need him to come in and face that, you know, the closer late in the game, and hit right-handed or left-handed to give you that good solid at bat to maybe get something going. So he's got a lot of positives. He's got a lot to give. So it's just a matter of how they decide to go.
He missed outside. Second walk of the inning, and the Astros, with 2 outs, have another base runner. And here's Ronnie Cedeno, his first at bat in an Astros uniform.
You know, you can see it. It just continues for Turner here. The Astros have gotten 1 hit. They've scored 2 runs. This is his 3rd walk. You know, it's tough. It's tough to pitch like that at this level.
Ronnie Cedeno, granted his release by the St. Louis Cardinals. He was in spring training with the Cardinals, signed this morning with the Houston Astros. You missed that off the top. Tyler Green will not make this club. Obviously, they're probably looking to move him along and find a spot for him. But as for Ronnie Cedeno, it looks like he's going to be the everyday shortstop for the Houston Astros. He and Marwin Gonzalez are going to be right there together, back and forth.
Yeah, I'd say I'm sure that Bo is going to make his lineup out on matchups and trying to figure out which suits each the other guy better. So it's going to be hopefully it'll be a really good fit, and they can work well together. I mean, Cedeno's a solid big league shortstop, and I think that's something that they've been looking for. They've been looking for some stability there, and I think they may have found it.
That's a 2-hopper to the shortstop, and that'll do it for the Astros. But the Astros get 2 runs on 1 hit, a walk and a sacrifice fly. The 2-base hit, Fernando Martinez. 2-1 Houston as we go to the 3rd. So far, as the Astros lead at 2-1, we go to the top of the 3rd. The Astros take on the Washington Nationals at spring training. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 4:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Your home for your home teams. Jeff Blum will be joining me for that. Alan Ashby took a spill, so he's on the shelf. He'll be good to go on opening day, as will Bill Brown. So nothing to worry about.
We got Ash is on the DL.
But it's the 6-day DL.
It's the 6th day.
He'll be back 7 days from today, which will be opening day at Minute Maid Park.
Oh, that's good stuff. You hate to see something like that happen to such a good guy. Hopefully, speedy recovery.
So Juan Pierre will lead it off here in the 3rd. Pierre singled and ended up scoring on a RBI single, I should say, from Giancarlo Stanton in that 1st inning.
Oh, here we go.
This is where you talk about a guy with speed, can make a lot of different things happen. You got infielders moving around. You got pitchers worried about who's going where Matt Dominguez is right now, and he'll make the play, and this gets Juan Pierre by an eyelash.
But you can see right there just how shallow our infield had to play and respect the speed and respect what Juan can do with the bat and how he handles the bat. That's a great play right there by Matt.
What you said, handles the bat. That's another thing, too. It's not like you can cheat and stay in there, because he will slap a ball by you, and next thing you know, you're chasing one down in the corner.
Absolutely. And that right there is a great play by Dominguez, in my opinion, because he knew he had the out. That ball might have rolled foul, but he knew he had the out, and he took it and made a good throw and good play. Now, and they get Pierre out of there with 2 pitches.
Wilson Valdez was asked to lay one down in the 1st inning, sacrifice bunt.
You know, one of these Valdez, one of these guys that he's just a good, solid player that can do some things for you. He can run a little bit. He can play defense, and you know, you never know how the bat's going to come along. It's a that piece of wood sometimes dictates a lot.
This is a guy who was released on Friday by the Giants in Arizona and basically signed yesterday morning. Well, he was not out of work long.
Flying across country, got a little jet lag.
Flew in from Arizona, put on a Marlins uniform, went to work. Played in the game yesterday.
That's a good thing to be wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like Martinez has kind of gotten into a little bit of a groove here and kind of settled in here. He's looking better.
Well, David Martinez getting the start today, and that one a carved piece into right field. And Valdez is on with a single.
Good piece of hitting right there.
Absolutely.
That's one of those try to knock the second baseman down, as Vince Coleman's been telling a lot of our minor leaguers over there. Just, hey, knock the second baseman down when you got 2 strikes. Some of our younger guys.
Shorten up, put it in play. Good things happen from time to time. That's the case right there. Giancarlo Stanton had the RBI single back in the first inning to get the scoring going for the Fish.
It's a big presence in the lineup right here.
It's a big presence in the batter's box.
As I'm looking back here, I'm going, man, you can look right through. You can see his forearm. You can see everything. It's like, wow. This is a specimen. and he can hit on top of that.
You remember the ball he hit last year in the Marlins Stadium, and it hit not the scoreboard, but the video board on the back wall.
Yeah,
and broke it.
Well, that's something that you can't teach right there. That is a special ability, special power, and he's got it. That's for sure.
And may have gotten that one moving over, and a diving catch. Outstanding by Trevor Crowe. As he leaves his feet, makes the diving grab on Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh, what a play. Look at how far he had to go for this ball. He hit it off the end, but it seemed like the wind kept carrying it to left center. I mean, what a tremendous play right there. Just kept running and running. It seemed like that. Oh, there he is. He's in the screen and just keeps going and going and going. That's a great play right there.
And again, you're playing on a day in which, while the wind may not have affected that, it may have. I mean, just, it's not always about the wind blowing it out. It's about the wind doing strange things.
Absolutely.
With the baseball
that ball started in left field and it winds up in left center, and that's from, this wind that we got going right now, this gale force wind we got going out to right field, and it's moving the ball everywhere. Pop-ups. No thank you today.
Yeah, really.
Run from him.
Greg Dobbs, a designated hitter, with Valdez at first.
I think Dobbs threw one out there last time.
Dobbs singled back in the first. He was caught stealing on a double steal. As Corcoran got the back man at second base, and he got Dobbs.
Yeah,
in the inning.
They designed it that way. I think Stanton runs a little bit better and didn't quite get as good as jump, and Corcoran made a great throw. So not much you can do about that. But he had a little bit, that hit he had last time had a little bit maybe to do with the wind as well. Took that big swing, hit off the end a little bit. Fernando slipped in the right field and, kind of fell in. But nonetheless, a hit's a hit. Goes down in that column.
2-1 with a couple of outs here in the top of the third inning. Hit the center field. Long run for Ankiel. It'll be off the wall. Skips up and over, and a ground rule double. The Astros got a break there because that's a ball that Wilson Valdez is easily going to score.
Especially with 2 outs, he's running on everything and anything, and that was a big break right there.
Valdez will have to stop at third. Dobbs is robbed of a RBI in that situation, so runners at second and third, and Justin Ruggiano will be the batter. Carlos Corcoran goes out and talks with his pitcher.
Right there, that's what it does. Getting that hit there in the first inning kind of relaxes you a little bit and allows you to have that just a little bit more loosey-goosey to your second at bat. That's where the good days start. Sometimes not always with hitting the ball in the barrel.
That one popped up on the infield. Nothing easy today. Altuve makes the play, and the Marlins leave a pair. 2 hits, 1 run, and beg your pardon, 2 hits, no runs, and they leave 2. Astros splashing some leather in the 3rd. Astros leading at 2-1. Joining us now from the Astros dugout, Eduardo Perez. How you doing, big man?
Pretty good. You know what? 2-1 is a lot better than last time I was on TV with you guys, where we were down like 8.
It was rally time back then. We're just trying to see if you're versatile, put you in a different role here. All things considered, you have to be very pleased with what you've got. This, 1 week away now from opening day, but what you've been able to see on a day in and day out basis, I would think Jeff Luhnow, Bo Porter, I think guys, all you guys have to be very pleased with what you've seen.
Oh, without a doubt, we've been swinging the bats. John Maley and Dan Radisson have done a great job offensively with the guys. I'm not mistaken, we're still leading the league in home runs, and it's not because of the wind. This is a freaky day out here today where the wind's blowing out, but defensively we've done a great job, and pitching-wise, Broke has done a nice job identifying what we need.
Hey, Eddie, it's Adam here. What, with getting the addition of Ronnie, how is that going to help solidify this middle infield?
Well, we have a lot of sinker ball pitchers, a lot of guys that, have hitters pound the ball on the ground, and we're going to need somebody that can go out there and make the plays defensively and at the same time provide some offense for us. And Ronnie has a track record. He understands this league, and he knows what it takes to go out there in the grind day in and day out. And when you have experience up the middle, a veteran guy, over 9 years of service time, then that's the guy we needed.
Absolutely. I think he's going to be a great addition. You doing I know you're the bench coach as well as the infield coach. Just tell me something that is really that people don't know about our infielders and their preparation and the youngness of them. I mean, you got Dominguez over here on the left side as well, but you're going to have Cedeno and Altuve. They all are going to try to intermingle and work together. Is this going to be something that may be a future for the Houston Astros?
Well, the beautiful thing is the future is definitely bright in this organization with all the prospects we have down below. But right now, we got to take in hand what we have today and what we can provide tomorrow. And what we need are guys that can catch the ball, make it easier on our young pitching staff. And if we can do that, Dominguez is great defensively. Ronnie Cedeno is also very good. Altuve, you play him where he has to play, he'll make the plays. And I know the Houston fans know that. And Wally's going to be a floater. He's going to be playing some first. He's going to be playing some third. He's done really well during spring training, and we expect him to continue to do well throughout the season.
That's another thing too. And you look at this organization, and from a standpoint of guys that can do a lot of different things. And I'm looking at the 2 guys here, one on deck and one in the batter's box, and Wallace and Pena. When one guy may be doing one thing, another guy may be doing another. And I would guess you would like the way that Wallace has really worked at it at third base, because that's not an easy position to play.
No, and he's looked really, really good defensively. Yesterday he made some nice plays in Atlanta, in the Disney complex. And then you have Carlos Pena, which right now he's DHing today, but this guy won a Gold Glove in 2008, so we cannot ignore that at all. he provides experience. And he's been there, and that'll help out Wally. That'll help out the rest of the infielders. He's been a great leader on and off the field, and we expect a lot of better stuff and a lot, continue that with Pena.
If you need any help, I got a guy up here that I'm sure can still pick it. As a matter of fact, there's no doubt he can still pick it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're too late, because we've already been picking his brains, not only knowing that he can pick it. Adam, you know just as well as anybody that you're a big part of this organization, and definitely the guys look up to him. And you have a guy now, Marwin Gonzalez, which grew up as a big Houston fan, and he was like, I can't believe that I'm working with Adam Everett out here. So not just because he's on the air, but that ball's hit well, boys.
Yes, it is.
That is crushed.
That is
to left center field. Wow.
Oh, pop the chain, baby.
How about that?
Yeah, you can take your time on that one. That was a long ball right there.
Brett Wallace, his third home run of the spring, a no-doubter.
He's making his case, playing some first base and third base and hitting. Eddie, this is one of the things that I've been, your outfield, you've got Ankiel, you've got Crow, you've got Barnes, you've got Martinez, you've got all these guys, you've got Maxwell. I do not envy the decisions that you guys have to make. I mean, there's a lot of decisions that you're going to have to make here in the next week.
But it's a lot of fun to have decisions to make. It's really bad when you don't. And there's a lot of young talent here and a lot of guys that can play the game. And Bo said it from the get-go. What we're looking for are ball players, guys that understand what it takes to play a 162-game season, play against tough teams, but be mentally strong also. And that's what we're here to identify and help out Jeff and David in the front office to be able to identify those players.
You've seen it from both sides, as a young player and as a veteran. And the guy right here in the batter's box, in Carlos Pena, you talked about what he brings as far as the glove, and we know what he can do with the stick. But, that veteran presence on a very young team, and people I don't think understand all the little nuances of little stuff, whether it's traveling or how you handle yourself. And you bring a guy like that in, and that really puts it on autopilot for guys like you, doesn't it?
Without a doubt. And this is a guy that really can kill two birds with one stone. And what I mean by it, he identifies not only to the Latin players, but also to the U.S. players. He is well-rounded, well-spoken, educated. This is a guy that's been there, and he is really helping us all out. I mean, not only with the players, but with everybody, the coaches, just the way he speaks. He's really taking into the philosophy that we have here and that Bo has implemented, and it's really worked. It's been a nice compliment to this team.
Hey, how cool was that? What was it last week in Jupiter, being able to bring out the lineup card? Have you done that before with Dad?
You know what? No, and it was awesome to do so. He's a mainstay, a staple in my life, and between him and Mom, the way they brought us up, my brother and I, and to have a father the way he is, humble and caring, and was always the same. If he went 0 for 4 with 4 Ks or 4 for 4 with 3 homers in a game, he's always been the same, and everybody that knows him knows that about him. But it's definitely fun to last year to work with him, and this time to give out the lineup card against him. And he told me that he was going to beat us, and they didn't. That's the best part.
Hey, I got to tell you, as a kid who grew up, as a guy who grew up as a kid in Houston, and that was when it was the National League West, and you had the Astros, and the Dodgers, and the Reds, and
that's right.
Your favorite team was whoever was playing, either the Dodgers or the Reds. Your second favorite team, I should say. I couldn't stand him as a player, so I just want to let you know.
That means he was doing his job.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
I couldn't stand I couldn't stand Bench. I couldn't stand Rose. Go down the list.
I don't blame you.
That was but that had to be a great experience for you, I'm sure.
Oh, without a doubt, it's all I knew. Growing up in the Cincinnati Reds clubhouse and in a winning atmosphere, I think it helped all of us kids that grew up in that era. I mean, you look at it. I think it was 11 of us that signed professionally, and 5 of us that won in the first round. That just speaks marvels of what Sparky Anderson and the rest of the crew were able to do to bring us up in that baseball atmosphere.
How big of an advantage is that, too? Obviously genetics, but you see guys, even people forget Barry Bonds. I mean, you're talking about Ken Griffey Jr. Some of the great players grew up in major league clubhouses. How big of an advantage is that? Because you're obviously in that situation as well.
Oh, it's huge. It's the sixth sense. If you look at it, it's the instinct part. You don't have to teach. I never played summer ball. I never played travel ball. My summer ball, my travel ball was with the Major League Baseball team in the clubhouse. We understood since we were little that if the team lost, we weren't allowed into the clubhouse. Boy, do they hit when I speak on
I know.
TV.
Stay right where you are. That one.
Wow.
Singled into left for Rick Ankiel.
Those are some good swings right there.
Staying on it, drive it the opposite way.
Wow.
Jacob keeps putting it in his wheelhouse. That's what happens.
That's good hitting right there.
Hey, and you looked at, we talked about the Marlins and their struggles a year ago, and a frustrating season, and with all the things that went on, and they're in a situation now. I guess it's just stay at them, because from that standpoint, last year had the new stadium, all the things going in the right direction, and what things started heading south, and it just showed you how quickly things can head south, and it's hard to turn them around, isn't it?
Oh, really tough. And they use as a scapegoat, Ozzie and Joey Cora and myself and a lot of other guys were let go, and a lot of players also from Jose Reyes and Burley and Bonifacio were also let go and traded. But I mean, you look at the product and the players that they've got, and for those guys, it's been big. The Anibal Sanchez, Omar Infante trade. Right now, we're seeing the 1-2 punch on the mound. We're seeing Jacob Turner and Brantley behind the plate. Those were the main guys in that trade. So they're going to have to develop these guys a little bit. But either which way, nobody wants to look bad. Everybody wants to look good, and it's about developing right now.
And Hanley Ramirez as well. Just never seemed like it worked out with the Jose Reyes thing as well. Just basically from the start.
Oh, well, without a doubt from the start. The high expectations. Everybody thought the Marlins were going to run away with it. We had that Showtime, the franchise show.
Was that a distraction? I watched it every night. I mean, I watched it every week. Was that a distraction?
Well, you know what? I didn't let it be a distraction in my role, which was a hitting coach, and I didn't allow him in the cage when I was working. So, but they never bothered me. But I know it was for the players. It was probably a distraction. It changed a little bit of their habits. They had to let them into their homes. Whenever you do that, you start, taking away from your rest and your focus.
Absolutely. Eduardo Perez visiting with us, Astros bench coach.
Eddie, I think one thing that I think a lot of people would love to kind of get a grasp on is Bo Porter and what he has brought to this organization, what he's brought to the team, and what he means as he's running this team, and the energy and excitement and discipline that he demands as you play out there.
Accountability is the first word that comes to my mind. Everybody has to be accountable in their roles. Bo trusts all of us, but at the same time, we have to go out there and we have to show that same energy that he shows. And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I'm literally exhausted because it's nonstop and it's awesome. It's good because the players feed from it, and you see them taking that extra base. You see them hustling to their position. You see them with a lot of energy, heads up. Every out is supposed to be a productive out, and that's what we want. We know we're going to make outs, but make sure that they are those productive ones. Defensively, we have to be sound. And not only does it go with Bo, it goes also with our front office. It also goes with our brain trust, as we call them, with positioning defense, with, any little thing that has to do with numbers. We're a team, and a lot of people sometimes are skeptical of it. But you know what? Everybody wants to do well. Everybody wants to win, and that's very important for us and for anybody that's involved in this game. And any edge that you can get, we're definitely going to take advantage of it.
Before the game, I was talking with Bo, and he said, I hate when people call it a marathon. It's not a marathon. It's 162 sprints. Eduardo Perez, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hey, nice job getting a couple of runs there.
All right, Adam. That's TV, huh? I love it.
All right, Brett Wallace, a big fly, his third home run of the spring. This one, a no-doubter, has the Astros on top, 4-1. with 2 in the second and 2 more in the third on Brett Wallace's home run, a 2-run shot. And the Astros lead it 4-1. David Martinez gave up a run in the first inning, but he has settled down nicely since then. And this is where we stand. 4-1 as we go to the top of the fourth.
Doing a nice job, Mr. Martinez is, and the offense is making Turner pay for all those walks. I mean, it's we've only got 3 hits, but 4 runs, and they've I tell you what, they've been some big ones. They've had some big blows. I mean, Wallace hitting that 2-run shot to.
Well, that was a big fly.
Where did that go? That went to Orlando, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Went right over the 410 sign in left center field.
So he making his case. So it's they're making him pay right now, and it's been fun to watch.
Rob Brantley will lead it off here for the Marlins in the fourth. You continue to forget to keep score, don't you?
I got it. What's happening is I'm looking at the Marlins when I should be looking at the Astros. I'm looking at the Astros. We should be looking at the Marlins.
Doesn't work well.
I'm like, what is going on?
We keep score. I keep score, and then during the commercial breaks, Adam looks over and keeps score with what copies my paper.
Yeah, I'm cheating. I'm learning on the fly.
I got news for you, friend. You're in big trouble if you're copying off my paper. This one hit to left. Trevor Crowe not able to get there. He and Ankiel both pulled up a little bit at the end, and the ball could not have been placed any better right between the 2 outfielders. And Brantley is on with a single.
Yeah, that seemed like that was perfect placement right there, just right in between both of them. That was a tough play right there. Whenever you get one that's right there, you want to call it Bermuda Triangle or no man's land. That's exactly where it was, and just kind of seemed like Ankiel pulled up a little bit right there. There's no telling.
You know, sometimes discretion the better part of valor in spring training,
especially
without question.
Absolutely, I'd much rather see one fall in than 2 guys run into each other.
Oh, Matty Downs. That's inside for a ball. Downs flew out to center field back in the second inning in his first at bat. Downs, last couple of seasons, he was claimed off waivers back in 2010 from the San Francisco Giants. And stayed with the Astros for the most part for the last 2 seasons. Spent some time down in the minor leagues in Oklahoma City. That would hit hard in the hole. And the Marlins have something going with nobody out to pair of men on.
Put a couple together. This is Kochman coming up right here. Is a good guy to induce into that double play. Doesn't run particularly well, but at the same time, he does hit a lot of ground balls.
Casey Kochman, his 6th major league club. He's been an Angel, been a Brave, a Mariner, Tampa Bay, Cleveland. Together a really good spring for the veteran. Playing first base today for the Miami Marlins.
You know, he's a veteran guy that doesn't miss anything at first base. He's that vacuum cleaner over there that makes everybody in the infield better.
That's smart right there, and I don't know if it was intentional, but there's your free strike when you got a guy that's looking to jump out there and jump on something early.
He's looking to jump ship first pitch, and that's fine. Just hit it about 100 feet foul. That's perfect.
And it's a free strike, and Martinez out in front. 0-1. That one inside again. Pulled that a bit, and it's 1-1.
Hey, loosen up there. He's limbering up. That's a close one there. See if we can see if Mr. Martinez can settle in here and maybe get a ground ball. Watch our middle infield work together for the first time. That'd be nice.
David Martinez spent most of his career at Lancaster. He went 9-5 a year ago with a 4.38 ERA and 26 starts. 8 seasons in the minor leagues. Martinez's record is 36-23, and his ERA is 3.85.
Just knows how to pitch and very durable. That's something that is very hard to find. And anytime you can just go out there and find that workhorse for you, you're going to keep him around.
Trying to work through some trouble here. His first 2 men have reached on singles. Nobody out here in the fourth.
And when you stay around as long as he has, that means he's a great guy. He's a good guy to have in your clubhouse as well.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Something close. Kochman will jump out of his shoes on this one. That one fouled off. even puts the count at 3-2.
Another watch yourself in the dugout over there.
That one almost jumped into the stands.
Yeah. Got some guys loosening up. Kind of seems like their writing might be on the wall right here. This is a big out right here for Martinez. So maybe we can get 2 for the price of 1 here. That'd be beautiful.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Kochman hits that one in the air. And again, nothing easy today. Martinez there to make the play. And there's 1 away.
He has a knack for just getting people off the barrel at those times. Whenever there's guys out there, guys on base, he just seems to be missing the barrel just enough. So hopefully he can keep that going.
Something I learned from Steve Sparks taught me this, and it was from the standpoint, Sparky, we got a shout out for you. It's not about missing bats. It's about missing sweet spots once you get to the big leagues. And I think that's something that the regular fan, I'm not going to say layman, but the regular fan doesn't really understand. You think about missing bats and you think about big-time strikeout pitchers, but it's that fraction of an inch that's the difference between, somebody barreling one up and hitting off the end of the bat.
Absolutely, and, sometimes it's just that fraction of an inch. I mean, we're talking about a sweet spot on a wooden bat, 3-4 inches, so you don't have to miss by much, but that also goes to show you how good these hitters are as well.
And that's what they talk about, late movement, and that's why that's so important. You're swinging at something that you think's in one spot,
and then it's not there.
It's not there.
You're absolutely right. Just it's pitching to contact is what we, as a former infielder, that's what we love. We love those guys that pitch to contact, where it keeps you in the game and it keeps you on your toes as opposed to sitting back on your heels.
Swung on and fouled back by Green.
And that's one of the great things about Martinez here is that he's been around the plate, hasn't walked many people, and he's making them put the ball in play, and it's keeping your defense on their toes out there.
Green struck out back in the 2nd inning. So the numbers on Martinez, 4 1/3 so far. Been a little rocky, but he's been able to pitch out of some trouble. That one hit hard. Dominguez, they'll go to second base, and he's out at second. So Altuve was there to cover, and they get the force on Matt Downs. That was a close play at second base.
That was a very close play, and so that's one of those. Hopefully, it does. It's hit hard, and he did the right thing. He kept it in front of him, one of those in-between hops, and he didn't panic right there. Whew. He's going to feel that one tomorrow.
And that is what Dominguez can do. I mean, Dominguez has got to go out.
Absolutely, and that's, that right there, it might go unnoticed to everyone else, saying, oh well, he should have made that play, should have turned that double play. Well, that ball came up and hit him in the chest. Not only do that, he kept it in front of him and was able to get the force.
Well, runners at first and third with 2 outs now for Juan Pierre, who gets his 3rd AB. Singleton scored back in the 1st. Tried to lay down a bunt. Dominguez made a good play on him back in the 3rd. Bats here in the 4th.
This is a spot that makes Pierre so deadly.
That one hit to Trevor Crowe, and Crowe will make the play. So some damage early, but the Marlins not able to make the Astros pay. Back-to-back singles to start the inning. They leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's Astros 4, Marlins 1. Is the Astros getting 2 runs in the 2nd, 2 more in the 3rd. That is where we stand alongside Adam Everett. Kevin Eschenfelder back with you here at Osceola County Stadium. The game's dwindling down. That means opportunities becoming more and more at a premium. Matt Dominguez, he more than likely will be the starting third baseman on opening day. And they said, here's the quote, they say if I had a good spring training, I'm going to be the third baseman. So it kind of relaxes you. Go out and not put pressure on yourself and do what you've got to do. And that's what he's been able to do. I know from your standpoint, because there were spring trainings you came up, and, you know, whether it was with the Red Sox and you were in camp with them or when you came over to the Astros, was it a matter of when you finally knew that, you know, hey, I'm pretty much going to be the shortstop on opening day, how much more that was able to relax you?
Well, I think not only does it relax you, but it also helps you prepare for the season in a much, much different way, to where you're not going out there gangbusters right from the beginning. You can go out there and say, hey, you know what? I can go out there, I can take some pitches, I can start to try to see the ball, I can go out there and work on my timing defensively, and that's something that he's been able to do, and he's taken advantage of.
Matt Dominguez had a sacrifice fly, drove in a run back in the second inning. Dominguez, who came over from the Miami Marlins, one of their top prospects, that was in the Carlos Lee deal. Immediately came to the big leagues, got to spend some time with the big club, went back down, came up later, and any question as to whether or not Dominguez can catch up with a fastball. He had a 3-run homer in September off of Aroldis Chapman, and Chapman did not give up many. It was one of his few blown saves, and ended a long streak by Aroldis Chapman of consecutive saves.
Yeah, I mean, this kid, I mean, look, he's a talented kid. He can do, but he's young, and he's going to learn how to play this game. He's going to learn how to play in 162 games, and the way he plays defense and the way he is approaching his at-bats right now, he's going to be just fine, and he's got a very bright future ahead of him.
31 games in the big leagues a year ago. Again, he was a guy that, yeah, that was when the Marlins, they needed somebody, and they needed him a bad way, and the Astros were able to get, remember the deal that Carlos, they reportedly had a deal done with the Dodgers for Carlos, and as it worked out, Carlos had the opportunity, obviously as a 10-5 guy, to turn that deal down. He ends up going to the Miami Marlins.
Yeah,
and advantage Astros on that deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's you know, what Matty brings to the organization and brings to that position there at third base is huge.
2013, it's a whole new ball game for the Houston Astros, and prorated season ticket packages and flexible mini packages are available now. To learn about the all-exclusive benefit and pricing, or to get your ticket packages today, call 877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com.
Come on, folks, get out there and get your tickets.
Adam Everett will be signing autographs.
They'll be.
So what are your responsibilities once the season begins? What are your responsibilities? For those who don't know, Adam, your first year basically as a minor league infielder instructor. So what are they telling you as far as your responsibilities?
Well, not only am I going to be, I'm going to come to Houston. I'm going to work with the guys in Houston as well, and then I'm going to go to each affiliate and work with our infielders and help them get better. Hopefully, pass on some of the tricks of the trade that people have taught me, and some of the knowledge that I've learned over the years, and help these guys get better.
Yeah, Brett Wallace, just an example, because, you know, you think, well, these guys have gotten to the big leagues, and they're obviously the greatest in the world at what they do, and that goes without question, but you still can learn a lot of things. You talk about Brett Wallace at third base, and he was saying, you know, I'm having difficulty here, and you said, well, look where you're standing. It's going to be something as simple as that.
Yeah,
right?
you know, I mean, we take so many things for granted with the guys that we just assume that they know. Yes, he's in big league camp, so we just assume that he knows where to position himself, how to position himself, where to stand. And, you know, that was one of the things that I brought to his attention. I'm like, you know, hey, Brett, it might be a good idea if we try something different. We go back and play the position where it's meant to be played.
Well, Ronnie Cedeno cruising into third base with a head-first slide and a 2-out triple for Ronnie Cedeno in his second at-bat in an Astros uniform.
That's a very nice piece of hitting right there. That is something that will play for a long time right there, getting the ball down the right field line.
Hit 259 a year ago as a New York Met, and that's just a matter of putting it in play and finding the right spot. I think he was thinking double out of the box instead of triple.
Yeah, it looks like he's laboring a little bit right there. You got the teeth showing, everything. He had it going right there. He wanted to get a third.
A 2-out triple for Ronnie Cedeno goes to the top of the order, and Jose Altuve. A swing and a miss from Altuve.
Big swing right there. This young man knows how to hit. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He doesn't deviate from his plan up there. This guy, with a lot of people, I'm sure you know, but he is a baseball player.
That one hit to center field and right in the tracks of Justin Rusciano. Well, the Astros get a triple, but leave a man. After 4, it's 4-1 Houston. The Astros lead the Miami Marlins as Houston scoring a pair of runs in the second. They add 2 more in the third. Marlins have out-hit the Astros 8-4, but it's the Astros leading it right now here in Kissimmee. So a nice job today by David Martinez. We got a call to the bullpen. As time for our call to the bullpen, presented by Gulfgate Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
I did. And see, I'm the new guy.
Yeah, right. You're the new guy, all right. It's Jose Perez. In his 4 games, you see the numbers: 9.82 ERAs, worked 3 2/3 innings, giving up 3 hits. He's had 1 opportunity, had blown save in that 1 opportunity, and allowed a home run in that one. But Perez, the guy came over from the Milwaukee Brewers. The things that go on here in the booth, I know you're just amazed.
I am. I'm enjoying it.
I'm glad you are. I'm enjoying working with you.
The other side of the fence. It's a lot of fun. Got Jose Perez there. He's going to be our stopper in the bullpen.
3 2/3 of an inning a couple of days ago against St. Louis, and that gave up those 2 runs on a hit. That was the home run. He pumps that one in for a strike. 4 innings, 1 run on 8 hits for David Martinez. Very solid, especially as rocky as things started off for Martinez.
Absolutely. I thought he did a great job. I mean, he gave up 8 hits, but he pitched in and out of trouble all day, and getting the ball off the sweet spot of the bat, pitching to contact, and he did that whenever it counted. Made him hit it at people.
Didn't walk a batter and struck out a couple.
Can't argue with that line. But you know, as you look at Perez here, a lot of times, you know, as the closer of the team, you come in the 5th inning of a spring training game, there is a little bit different adrenaline as opposed to coming in the 9th inning in Houston.
Yeah.
And getting ready to close out a game. Or
anywhere else for that matter. But you know, that's what you have to do. And you know, sometimes too, you might be looking at a situation too where Bo Porter's looking at the Marlins lineup and maybe wanting Perez to face certain guys.
Absolutely.
Whereas a guy like Giancarlo Stanton, who's up right now.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity to kind of see what we got both sides here. This is also Mike Redmond, the manager for the Marlins. This is good for him to see as well.
That one missed for a ball.
But I got a good feeling that Stanton's going to be in the opening day line.
You think so? He's 1 for 2 with an RBI single back in the first. Flew out to left field back in the third on a great catch by Trevor Crowe.
That was a tremendous catch. That was a da-da-da-da-da-da.
You're not supposed to say that.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Jose Perez, 1998. It was free agent signing by the Florida Marlins. I beg your pardon, by the Tampa Bay Rays. Played in the WBC in 2013. The Dominican Republic.
Maybe we can get him to hit one right at somebody.
We watched again Giancarlo Stanton in the pregame when he was taking batting practice, and just absolute bombs over the batter's eye in dead center field. That one yanks foul.
It's probably a good thing that nobody was out here watching his batting practice, because that's
certainly don't want the pitchers watching.
That's quite intimidating, especially I mean, when you hit him over the batter's eye, that's a good 30, 40 feet high. I mean, that's pretty intimidating and impressive at the same time.
Here's a 2-2 pitch to Giancarlo Stanton. Jose Perez delivers. You know, it's funny, you talk to some of the old players where starting pitchers would actually warm up in front of dugouts. Yeah. And it was, guys that would go over there and, you really pop the mitt, and making sure he was really close to the opponent's dugout to start things off. That's just the opposite, I guess, of not wanting to bring the pitchers out and watching BP.
Yeah, absolutely.
That one hit right at Dominguez. Makes the scoop and the throw, and there's 2 away here in the 5th.
Very nicely done. I tell you what, for a big guy, Stanton can get down the line, but there it is again. Matt, he's one of those guys that ground ball hit to him, you can turn your back and go ahead and put that out up on your scorecard right there, because he's pretty automatic over there.
Greg Dobbs at DH. 2 for 2 for Dobbs. Single was caught stealing back in the 1st. A 2-base hit in the 3rd. The Marlins have had their chances in this game. They've had base runners in every inning up until right now. And they've actually had hits in every inning up until now. And he is fooled badly by Jose Perez. There's weather, supposedly weather on the way. And so the Astros, they're going to get in at least a half a game here today. But things are starting to get a little gray and a lot more dreary over to our left, as you see it there. Severe thunderstorms in the forecast this afternoon. Good thing you didn't play golf today. Good thing you worked with me.
That's right. Well, this is Florida. You never know what's going to happen here. It can all of a sudden just split on us. Could be a dome over Osceola County Stadium. You never know, right?
Just hold the humidity in. 4-1, Astros lead it.
But it's starting to feel like spring. Weather's starting to warm up a little bit. It's nice.
It's supposed to get cooler the rest of the week. The Astros with a few more games this week. Only one more here at Osceola County Stadium. They'll travel over, take on the Mets. They'll take on the Atlanta Braves again. The Astros lost to the Braves yesterday over at Disney.
I guess, though, if there's ever such a thing as a good loss, that would be it. I mean, you pitch well, you play good defense. The other guy was just better out there.
He was.
But, they didn't give up. They scored a couple of runs against their closer in the 9th to get it to within 1 run. That's something that I think you're going to find with the Houston Astros. They're a gritty bunch of guys.
That one hit to left. Going back is Martinez. That ball fooled him. You could tell the wind. Martinez was jogging at first. Looked like he had a beat on it. And all of a sudden, that ball got by him. Bounces off the wall. And it's a 2-base hit for Greg Dobbs, who continues a perfect day with his 2nd double and his 3rd hit of the day, the afternoon.
Yeah, I tell you, that the wind is playing havoc out there. I mean, and that one was hit right in the jet stream. It didn't sound like it was hit real well off his bat. But it just seemed like it just kept carrying right there, and it did. Fernando had a tough time with that, rightfully so.
All bounced up off the scoreboard. And now in every inning, the Marlins have had a hit. 2-out double here for Dobbs brings up Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano struck out in the 1st, popped out in the 3rd. It is howling out there.
It is.
32-mile-an-hour wind.
You bring enough rain, and then it starts to blow harder. That reverse.
See, you wouldn't have wanted to play golf today. Adam had a day off, and they brought him over here to talk with me all day.
That's right. get a chance to see a big league game.
That one hit into right. One hop. Martinez. And they'll hold the runner. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Send him back to third base. Dobbs wasn't about to challenge.
No chance. That's I mean, that's the way you draw it up right there. You catch it on the one hop. Catch it on the one hop right here. Get it in quickly. And not only that, it makes a very nice, strong throw into Wallace there, the cutoff man.
Charging hard, too.
And you got to remember, too, now the wind is in his face as well. So not only is learning how to play there out there, learning how to throw.
Oh, MLB's opening night comes to Minute Maid Park Sunday, March 31st. That's 1 week from today. Astros take on the Texas Rangers at 7:05. Come out early for the Street Fest presented by Champion Energy with a special thanks to Budweiser. Stay after the game for a spectacular fireworks show presented by Marathon Oil. Visit Astros.com or call 877-9-ASTROS to get your tickets now. A couple of runners on with 2 outs. And Rob Brantley takes that in for a strike. You know, traveling with the Astros last year and being at home every Friday night, you've got the fireworks. And so every Friday night on the road, I had the fireworks. So I saw more fireworks last baseball season, last summer.
Now you just bring your family along with you.
I was
fireworks everywhere.
I was a fireworks connoisseur. I could break it down. This one hit up the middle. Cedeno takes the easy route, steps on second base. And the Marlins leave a couple. Veras, not an easy inning, but he gets through it. 4-1 Houston.
That ball's hit well, boys.
Yes, it is.
That is crushed.
That is
to left center field. Wow.
Oh, pop the chain, baby.
How about that?
Yeah, you can take your time on that one. That was a long ball right there.
Brett Wallace, his 3rd home run of the spring, a no-doubter.
He's making his case, playing some first base and third base and hitting. Eddie.
That was an ambulance chaser there. He hit that one all the way to the ambulance, way out of here. Osceola County Stadium. Brett Wallace with his 3rd home run of the spring. That 2-run homer has the Astros on top 4-1 as Jacob Turner stays in to pitch here in the 5th. Fans starting to move around a little bit. You see people pulling out jackets and starting to stir. I think the weather is as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's approaching, that's for sure. But whenever you see people start to move around like they are, that's usually
there's a tornado
sign.
Tornado warning in Orange County, which I don't know why we're worried about California. I'm kidding. It's right here in this area.
Well, I'm glad you know what county we're in. That's good. Considering it does say Osceola County Stadium.
But Orange County is
it's
right.
It's got to be close.
Oh, it's just a hoot and a holler down the road, Adam.
Hoot and a holler.
You went to South Carolina.
I did. I'm not saying I've never heard it before, but it's been a while.
You haven't used it, thankfully.
Yeah.
Brett Wallace homered back in the 3rd inning, that 2-run home run that we just showed you. And he will lead it off here in the 5th. As Jacob Turner stays in for the Florida. I knew I was going to say that. Miami Marlins.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's not that far removed.
Yeah. But Brett, he sure did put a charge in that last one. I mean, kind of almost hit it against the wind a little bit. I mean, he's had a great spring. I'm not sure if he's made some adjustments offensively, but he looks really good. He looks locked in. He looks like he's seeing the ball well, which is a very good sign.
Ball struck out in the first, 2-run homer in the third. Bats here in the fifth, and that breaking ball is in there for a strike. 1-2. Jacob Turner, young man, vying for that fifth spot in the rotation for the Marlins. Marlins will more than likely break camp with Ricky Nolasco. And you got Nate Eovaldi, young man from Alvin, Texas, right there in the Houston area. He's 3-0 with 3.65 ERA. He's the guy who came over in the Hanley Ramirez deal. Wade LeBlanc and Henderson Alvarez. At fifth starter, it's still up in the air. Guys like Kevin Slowey and John Maine. And also, you got Turner in the mix for that fifth spot as well. So a lot of unanswered questions that right now Mike Redmond has for his Miami Marlins.
Well, I think it's always a good problem to have whenever you have guys that can come in and compete in camp and, give you that opportunity to have to make a tough decision. And if you have the one thing that we know all that is very true in this game is so much is dictated with that bump out there in the middle of the field.
That one swung on. Nice play at first base as Casey Kochman, like you said, he could pick it, and he did right there. There's one away.
That's a very nice play. He can't pick it. Keeps his feet moving, picks through the ball.
So with all the high expectations a year ago for Miami, they went 69-93, and maybe more importantly, they just weren't good at home. And that was a brand new stadium. Usually you're thinking about sellouts night in and night out. That just wasn't the case. They went 38-43 at home. And it was just a tough go from the very beginning. Astros were actually there early in April last year. J.D. Martinez, who's been sent to the minor leagues for the Astros, he actually hit the first home run in that ballpark, the native of Miami.
Oh, that's something you can't ever take away right there.
He never got the baseball back either.
Really?
Yep.
That's surprising.
I know. I was talked to him this winter. He said, never got it back.
That's one thing in this game is you have to play well at home to give yourself a chance.
This one hit to Kochman again. And another 3 unassisted putout. Rick Ankiel will step in. And we want to tell you, though, the Rockets try to solidify their hold on the 7th seed and make a final run at the 6th spot as they take on the West leading Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs. That's tonight at 6 o'clock on Comcast Sportsnet. Your home for your home teams. How's your bracket doing so far? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so let's move on. That's what everybody says the same thing. Somebody's got to win the pool.
Somebody's got to, but it's not going to be the guy that his team gets beat in the first round that he picked to win the whole thing.
New Mexico? Who?
Georgetown. They let me down.
Okay.
I'm a baseball guy, not a basketball guy, so I did the best I could.
1-10-0 for the Miami Marlins. They out-hit the Astros 10-4, but the Astros leading on the scoreboard. 4-4-0 for Houston, and here's Rick Ankiel. And the 1-1 pitch is in there for a strike, 1-2. Ankiel walked and scored in the first inning on Fernando Martinez's 2-base hit.
Well, I think Mr. Turner may take something away from this outing. I think he may find this much easier to pitch ahead than it is behind.
Yeah, there's movement going on in the bullpen right now. Phillips warming up for the Marlins.
And we got action.
Action. And we got action in the skies, too.
Yeah, we got action kind of everywhere. We got people moving everywhere. Bullpen. Lights are on down here.
Going to ground the seagulls if it starts blowing any harder. Look at these things.
They don't know which way to go. I don't know how much they should fight it.
I'm not sure they have much of a chance.
No. It's just one of those days. As you see the jerseys and pants starting to whip around out there.
That one hit high in the air.
There it is.
There it is. How about that? Finding the right spot.
Bermuda Triangle. There it is.
And that's the second hit of the day. Perfect day for Rick Ankiel. A walk and 2 singles. It'll be Fernando Martinez stepping in, but first Mike Redmond will step out.
Yeah. do that, keep that going. You always hear you want to save those for the season, but as they say, good hitters hit.
Yep. Phillips will come in. And we'll take a break. Astros leading it 4-1.
Regional man.
Here, and it's going to stay that way. You look at what happened. Rick Ankiel came up, got his single, and he did it just at the right time, and he may have hit something in the sky with that ball, because I'm telling you, they made a pitching change, and just all heck broke loose with the weather. The wind is blowing, the rain has come, and watch this. Not raining a drop, right? Welcome to Florida, folks. It comes down in a big, big hurry as Rick will finish this one up with the hit. A big day today. Brett Wallace comes up big. You had the 2-run home run. You had some good things today. David Martinez, a guy that, not necessarily in the mix as far as this year is concerned, but got the start today. Little up and down, allowed some hits, but was able to pitch around things. Look at this. Look how quickly this rain came in.
And just down. I would say
Zach
out of
Phillips
nowhere,
saying,
but
do I really warm up? Yeah, go ahead. Throw a couple. Rick Ankiel, watch this. Here it comes. Let's go. We're done.
Yeah. And it started coming down, too.
It came down in a hurry, and it continues to come down. The fans running for the exits. And we'll take a break. We'll come back. Astros. Received official verification that nothing is official just yet. Only thing we have heard, it's spring training baseball, folks. The only thing we have heard is I don't think we're going to play. But that's not been official. You can see, obviously, they have not covered the field here at Osceola County Stadium. So coming back and playing after this downpour, more than just a little bit unlikely. But, again, it has not been officially called. The Astros did some good things in this game. Gave up a run in the first inning, but went to work defensively after that. You know, they talk about it. Bo Porter talks about it so often. You got to be able to pitch. You got to be able to catch it. Matt Dominguez, nice play here on Juan Pierre.
And, you know, I think more than anything it was his awareness right there, because, hey, you don't want Juan Pierre to have another bat, because that ball could have gone foul. And then you see Trevor Crowe making this diving play, great play where he ran, seemed like forever, to left center. And that's just one of the things that I think Bo is really bringing to this team in the Houston Astros. Hey, we're going to play hard, and we're going to play with a purpose.
As a guy that, you know, working with this organization, you spent a lot of time in the big leagues, whether it was here or Detroit or on to Cleveland and different places, and you saw a lot. You played for a lot of different managers. What you've been able to see, and you're seeing it from a different perspective. I get that. You're not a player, but
right.
You're seeing what Bo Porter brings to this camp and knowing what he's doing with the young team. You know, how is that going to play, and what you've liked so far, what you've seen?
Well, I think, you know, Eduardo Perez hit the nail on the head earlier. He said accountability. You know, we have so much of this entitlement, it seems like, in today's game. And Bo's taking all that away, and he's going, hey, we're going to be accountable for what we do, both on the field and off the field. After the game, preparation-wise, all the way around.
Hey, and also, though, you look at this team, too, and for the first time, it seems like in a while, you've got, I'm not going to say the first time you've had competition, but this has been the biggest competition you've had at certain positions. And let's face it, that pushes people, and I think that's going to help with this club as well.
I think you're absolutely right, especially whenever you're coming into a camp that I've never seen like this before, where literally almost every position was open. And there was a competition almost everywhere, maybe not second base or maybe not here, but for the most part. And these guys have come out and competed, and they played well, and they played hard.
Rick Ankiel's been one of the very pleasant, I'm not going to say so much as a surprise, but boy, he has really been able to rake here. And you're talking about a guy that's absolutely come in here and grabbed a spot by the throat on this team. Same could be said for Brandon Barnes, who we talked to in the pregame. And, you know, these are guys that needed to step up and certainly have been able to, and including guys like Philip Humber and Brad Peacock in the rotation, or as far as the starters are concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Barnes and Ankiel, but, I mean, look at Laird. He's got 12 RBIs, 5 home runs, and to have a right-handed guy that can hit off the bench like that can play the corners. If you need him to go in the outfield, he can do that. But you're seeing Brandon Barnes here. I mean, this guy is a player and can come in and he can do a lot of different things for you. He can come in and play defense late for you. And you just one of those intangibles.
And, you know, Barnes is a guy, too, and if you missed it, we talked to him on the pregame show. This is ninth year in the organization. And, you know, a guy that, you know, hang with him kind of guy. Why do you do it? Because I'm a baseball player. He's a guy that's getting his opportunity now. As you see Bo Porter making his way over, and I think they are going to make this pretty official fairly soon. We'll see what they say.
Yeah, there looks like they're looking at the radar now, trying to figure it out, about the small lake we have on the infield. So we'll see how that goes.
You think somebody said to him, I don't think the hard stuff's going to come down for a while?
I'm not sure. We keep looking at
I keep playing. You see, if we look at the weather radar as well as we go to staff meteorologist Adam Everett for an update, that it's some nasty stuff. Look like it's coming across Central Florida. So this may be just the.
I did not go to school for that, I can assure you.
We want to remind you, too, we've got the Astros and the Washington Nationals tomorrow night starting at 4:30 here on CSN Houston. 4-1, the Astros leading it right now. Rain delay as of right now. We will see what they will do as far as calling it. You know, Bo Porter, it's a different type of camp. Baseball is a lot more of that old school, and you do things a certain way, and you say, well, why do we do them that way? Because that's what everybody else does. Bo Porter falls out. He's a little different than that, that's for sure. In fact, you know, talked about it with Eduardo Perez from the standpoint of, you know, he said, I hate when people call it a marathon. It's not a marathon. 162 sprints. And you know, you sit down on the bench, you don't have anything to do. But when you get in that box, that's when you got to be locked in. You got to be locked and loaded, ready to go. That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, he's bringing just a different mentality to this ball club, and something that has been missing here for a few years now. And I think just holding the guys accountable, saying, hey, I want to get the best out of you, not just for the Houston Astros, but for yourself as well.
And Jeff Luhnow,
bringing that to everybody.
Yeah, and Jeff Luhnow, that's the kind of guy he wants. In fact, when you look at the quotes from Jeff Luhnow on Bo Porter, people know, Bo is going to be here for a long time. He could be one of those guys who is an Astro manager for decades, not just years. Players knowing that this group that's going to be here, it really going to lay that foundation for stability, which is really. That's what Jeff Luhnow had to say about Bo Porter. That's high praise when you start talking about a guy that he's the kind of guy you want for a long period of time. And from a general manager, trust me, not often is a general manager hiring a guy that he only wants to be around to the All-Star break.
Right, but I think what he's saying there is not only it's telling the guys, hey, you know what? He's going to be around for a while. We want you guys to buy into this. We want you guys to hear what he's saying and follow his lead. And that's what he's doing as the manager of our ball club. He is leading this club and leading a young club and showing them, hey, this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to do it the Houston Astros way.
Well, everybody's left with the exception of the team and the mascot. Orbit's still fighting the good fight. We'll be back to wrap things up in a moment. In Kissimmee, the final after 5 innings as the Astros win it today over the Miami Marlins as they get their 12th win of spring training. Just a few games left, one of which tomorrow you can see here on CSN Houston as they take on the Washington Nationals. And, it all leads up to, well, 1 week from today when the Texas Rangers come to town to start the 2013 season. And this is why it is so important. You want to get a young club off to a good start. That goes without saying. You want to play well at the beginning, the middle, and at the end. But if you can get off to a good start with a young club, that really can build some confidence, breed some positive thoughts in guys' minds, and you're facing it's not going to be easy when you look at the fact that you're going to play, what is that, for 18 games against guys like the Mariners, all in the West.
I tell you, it's you got to get off to a good start, especially with being a young team. Getting off to a good start is key. So you can go out there and kind of get into the flow of the season. But if you get behind the 8 ball early, then it's going to be a tough road to haul. But you know what? The way that Bo is preparing this team and the way that this team is starting to play baseball, I think they're going to be fine.
Nice job, brother. Good job.
Well, I appreciate it.
Good working with you today.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Astros win it today 4-1 in a rain-shortened game here in Kissimmee. Spring training coverage continues tomorrow as the Astros take on the Washington Nationals. Our coverage begins at 4:30 with Astros pre-game live. Heflin, Matt Thomas with Astros post-game live. So for Adam Everett, I'm Kevin Eschenfelder. This has been a production of Comcast Sportsnet.